Hey nerds! This is the Pretty Nerdz podcast. Let's get into it.
Now point your fingers up to the sky and talk through your nose way up high. Spin and dip and jump and cavort and finish it off with a laugh and snort.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Pretty Nerdz podcast. This is your girl Falan DeAnn.
And this is your girl Nay.
How's everything going?
It's been a little hectic for me, man. My dog had to have surgery. Plus, I'm starting a new job. I got admitted to college to pursue my MBA. So it's just been a lot of stuff all at the same time. So it's been fairly hectic. That was one of the reasons that I wasn't even able to record last week because after that Monday, when we had to push it back after that, I was just so tired. Because like I said, my dog had surgery, so I've been having to watch her and maintain to try to make sure her scar is healing up and doesn't get infected. Plus this new job in college. It's been a lot of shit. So tired. It's just the word to describe it. What about yourself?
Same here. Well, not with the dog. I hope Mara is okay. Started a new job. I haven't made the decision about when I'm going back to school. I know that I'm going. But that's about it. And just trying to enjoy life. That's all.
So I know you had said that you started that you were doing that job where it's fully remote. So you started something after that. So it's a new one aside from that one.
Yeah, so just look, a recruiter reached out to me on Indeed, and I thought it was a scam, but it turned out it wasn't a scam. So start Wednesday.
Okay.
And it's still fully remote as well. And like a good company. Like I said, it was just weird that they reached out like that. And it was how it was titled. I was like, yeah, this is a scam.
Well, that's good though. That's awesome. So yeah, okay. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the hot topics for this week. First, we can start with some sad news. Johnny Brown from Good Times, he did pass away. So obviously prayers and condolences to his family, his friends, and everything like that. It's very sad to see. I mean, like it's been a tough last couple of years. We've been seeing a lot of people just kind of passing away. I saw it pop up on the timeline, but I don't know. I didn't see what the cause of death was. I'm not sure if it was revealed or not in there. So I don't really know. I can't really speak to that portion of it, but I did see that he did pass away. Also, I will say in other kind of sad, I think it's like sad and terrifying and all those type of things roll into one. WNBA player Brittney Griner, she was arrested in Russia. So obviously for those who don't know, the WNBA doesn't really pay any money. Well, look, they don't pay nothing. They don't pay no money. So the vast majority of WNBA players do have to go and still play basketball overseas. That's where they make the vast majority of their money. Brittney Griner has been playing in Russia for the past 7 years. So she goes, once her season stops in the US with the WNBA, she goes and plays in Russia in the seasons over there. She's been doing that for the past 7 years. Obviously, with them going to war with the Ukraine, President Biden issued that call to everybody, all American citizens that were in the Ukraine as well as in Russia, to come home. So she was on her way back earlier in February to try to get back home. And she was actually detained in the airport. They said that her belongings, they found a vape with cartridges that supposedly contain hash oil. So they charged her with, I guess, possession of drugs. I don't know, or drug paraphernalia or something like that. They say she can face up to 10 years in Russia. So, and from what I understand, there's a person like I don't know if it's like the ambassador or whatnot, who whenever somebody is detained in a foreign country, so whenever somebody's detained in Russia, they're actually able to go see the person just to make sure they're okay. From what I understand, the person, that person has said that they haven't been able to see her. And she's been detained, even though the story is just now breaking. They said she was detained earlier in February when she was trying to get out of the country before the whole war started. So that shit is just crazy, terrifying. Like, I hope somebody has heard some of, the reports haven't said anything, but I hope some of her people have heard from her. I don't know. Just a whole terrifying situation. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so we got two pretty, outside of that, we got two other pretty interesting stories. I will say, let's start with, I want to save the Making the Band one. Let's start with the whole Baby Tate, Erica Banks, Nicki Minaj thing. So apparently the way it started is somebody on Twitter asked, Baby Tate was asking who they thought she should feature on the song. Somebody suggested Nicki, and she went into this whole thing about how Nicki has not didn't respond to her previous DMs, and how she, she's not saying that Nicki owes her anything. But, she's paid so much homage to Nicki and been so supportive, and she felt like she needed a feature, like she wishes that she would have did the feature. And then I guess Erica Banks also kind of just decided to chime in on that and ended up getting blocked by Nicki. I don't know. I just find the whole situation weird for all the people who say that Nicki is washed. Don't nobody want to work with her. She's not for any of the girls, she's not, you know what I mean? All the things that they say about her. It always seems that these girls get on the internet and beg for features from her.
Yeah. It's just weird because I'm like, I think somebody, I don't know who Malibu bitch is. I'm guessing she's another rapper.
Yeah.
But she made a good statement of all these other high profile, award-winning artists haven't even worked with her, and you come in the game for like 2 minutes and like, oh yeah, because even Erica Banks' explanation was like, oh, I'm a fan, so of course I want to work with her. Been like, okay, well, build your portfolio. And she said millions of times, if she can't bring anything to it, she's not going to hop on the track. And I can't knock her for that because people are already critical as fuck. And who would do that? I'm like, that, to me, that's like, it's foolish. It's a waste of time. And it kind of waters down her artistry or her as an artist to say, okay, well, everybody that asks me for a feature, I'm gonna hop on that track. No, you be selective about who you work with, your partnerships. And I'm like, again, y'all be dragging her underhandedly and then get on the internet and be like, well, no, it wasn't really a drag. I've been a fan. Okay, if you say so.
So with the whole Nicki thing, like I said, I just find it weird that, like if all of them beg her for these features, yet everything I see is, oh, she's washed, she can't never get a number one, da 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 da. So I just don't, why do y'all want to work with her so bad? If all y'all, like if she's known as this mean girl in the industry and all of that, why does everybody get on the internet and complain about not getting a feature from her? Like, it's confusing to me. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm not like a super fan, but it'd be weird. And I don't understand people like she washed. I'm like, is it because she hadn't released? And it's not that she hadn't released anything recently. I'm like, if you don't like it, just say you don't like it. But to say she washed and she don't make hits, and let's not go that far. Like, I just like this hate.
Yeah, exactly. I will say that I will say, as somebody who, liked Nicki when she first came out, I will say that I hope for her sake, I hope that this next project that she has coming out is her last project, because to be completely honest, and I hate to say this, I will say that her personal completely derailed her brand in terms of music. And I just feel like there's no coming back from that. I think that she would be better suited to let this be her last album, and then pull like a LL, Ludacris, Tyrese, and go into acting. Like, that's always been a second passion of hers. Go into that. You know what I'm saying? Take a couple acting classes and hop your ass in some movies or something, and just completely, you know what I'm saying? Because with actresses, at least you get to disappear into a role, and they don't focus as much on, because you're not presenting yourself, you're presenting a character and shit like that. So they don't really hit as heavy on your personal life. So I feel like she could benefit from going into acting more, because in music it's just focusing on her. And like I said, I feel like her personal fucked her brand. I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Her brother and then the husband is just like, bruh.
Ain't no recovering. Like, I don't know. I still to this day, with all of the options that she had for dudes, I just don't understand why that was the choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it was like, well, let me slide with him for a little bit, he should have been like a slide, you know what I'm saying? Like a hit and quit. Like, that shouldn't have been the baby daddy married for wrestling. Nah, that should have been a hit and quit. If you was gonna, it should have kept that shit on the low.
Right.
Don't never let nobody find out about this, like, ever. I don't know.
Like, I see your ass on the weekend while I'm off and move the fuck on. And then I'm like, that always baffled me. Like, you went and picked up trash.
Facts.
Like, I ain't saying that you had to go with somebody in the industry or somebody like, but you really got trash.
Facts. She stooped to the bottom of the barrel for that one.
Right. And then it didn't help. Like, you had just came off a scandal and you right back in another one.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, I think that I hope for her sake that this next album is her last project, and that she, like I said, completely flips, rebrands, and maybe goes into acting or something like that. Something where her personal won't really affect you know what I'm saying? Won't affect the business, won't affect the brand as much. I don't know.
I'm saying, cause yeah,
she don't seem to want to move away. So that's another thing that's another critique that I have for musicians and artists. Know when the fuck to walk away. You know what I'm saying? Know when it is time to wrap it up and walk away gracefully. Like, she was at the top for so many years. Somebody should be in her ear and be like, hey, listen, it ain't hitting the way that it used to. We need an exit strategy at this point, so you can walk away with some type of grace or dignity left. Because at this point, it ain't happening for you, boo.
Yep. Hopefully she gets it together. I don't know though. I don't know. And the fact that she still be posting pictures with him, like, child, just don't do it.
Just don't do it. And I mean, to be honest with you, they don't need Nicki no more. They have a Nicki replacement in Doja. So, you know what I mean? Like, Doja really is Nicki 2.0. So they don't need her anymore. So like I said, I hope she got an exit strategy. Because those two, when she released those two records, that Do You Have a Problem record, if that record couldn't stay in rotation, then shit, I don't know what to tell you, sis. Because that, to me, out of the two singles, that was her best one. Little Baby is on fucking fire. Like, anything he touched been hot. So if you couldn't even though it debuted at number 2, if you couldn't get that to get radio spins and radio play, because that, in all honesty, that's the issue with her records, is that they don't get any radio spin and radio, because if you've ever turned on the radio, that Do You Have a Problem, I don't know, even understand how it went to number 2, without any radio, because that week that it was released, I never heard it on the radio, not one time. Like I never hear any of her songs anymore on the radio. So I'm like, I understand radio ain't as big anymore, but if you get 0 radio play, your shit ain't never, it ain't gonna stay in the top no more. So I don't know.
Yeah.
If her record, if that Do You Have a Problem record didn't hit, then that should have been a signal for her. Yeah, it's time to go ahead and get the exit strategy and figure out how to bow out of this shit gracefully. Or well, as gracefully as she can. It's been an ugly.
Big should have just
mistakes you make. Listen, if she was smart, if it was me, I would have straight PR'd that relationship with Lewis Hamilton. Like, even if y'all wasn't gonna say, that would have been my fucking PR relationship. That would have at least allowed her brand to rebrand. Lewis Hamilton is a good look, regardless of what anybody want to say. He's a billionaire in the NASCAR world, or Formula Formula One driver. So, you know, he done made so much money there. He's kind of known as a GOAT in that area. Like, that would have been such a good look for her. Like, if I was whoever was in her camp, I would have been like, listen, if you want to play with the hood dude or whatever on the side, whatever, but you need to PR this shit with Lewis. Make this PR shit work, because that's the only way to fix your brand right now, because you got too much shit going down.
Yep. All at once.
Complete messiness. And I know you said you wanted to touch on the Brittney Griner situation.
Yeah, just giving, like, I'm just wishing, you know, the best for her. I know somebody mentioned that, and I mean, of course, it's Russia, and of course, they use the term now, same gender loving. I'd never heard of that term before. It was new for me today. So I know that adds like another layer of complication to the situation. So like, I definitely like wish her the best. Hopefully, she gets out of there. I just feel like, I don't know. Hopefully she gets, because it's like she's low profile, but at the same time, anybody could be used as a pawn. So we shall see.
Yeah. That's why I said that situation is so scary, because I'm like, shit. You know? Ugh. And like I said, she facing up to 10 years. They could literally just say, nah, you getting 10, you know? Scary. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the final hot topic this week. Now, I saw this video on the Neighborhood Talk, so salute to them. They did an interview with Freddie P from Making the Band, because for some reason, Diddy was trending again, because Making of the Band clips started to play, and people were like, why don't people go at Diddy the same way that they do Tyra? Because the way he treated you know what I'm saying? The way he treated the Making of the Band people, you could say was shit. He was out here, you know, making them walk to go get fucking cheesecake and shit like that. So essentially he was trending, and then people who were on Making the Band, we saw two of the guys from Day 20. We saw one of the guys from Day 26. Willie Taylor, he spoke up first, and he said that, you know, when you're young and hungry, you'll sign anything, and the contracts wasn't right. Lesson learned. And then you saw Freddie P. He was in the first original Making the Band. What the fuck were they called? Shit. I'm trying to think. Danity Kane was the girl group. What the fuck were they called?
Now I gotta look it up.
Shit, I can't remember. Cause they were the originals.
Cause she was on there with like Sarah.
Yeah. What the fuck was their group called? Danity Kane was the girls. Day 26 was the R&B boy group. They was like the rapper singer. They had rappers, and then Sarah Stokes was the only singer in the group. Everybody else was rappers. Oh, I remember Die Line. What the name was? What was the name of their group? Oh man, I'm with you. It's gonna bother me now. I need to know. Oh, they were just simply called the band.
Okay. I saw that and I was like, I don't remember that, but it makes
I don't
sense.
either. Okay. So yeah, so they were just simply called the band. So Freddie P was one of the rappers on that, and he basically said fuck Diddy, and he went off in the comments. And so then Neighborhood Talk sat down and talked with him, and like watching him speak, I was like, shit. Did he really? Woo, I don't know. I feel like Diddy got some I don't even know if I want to say explaining, but he owed the culture a lot, because I feel like Freddie P ain't the only person who has dealt with Diddy or who's been signed to Diddy or who felt the way that he felt.
Yeah. I feel like too many claims. It's not like one person and you like, oh, well, maybe they disgruntled. Like, it's a known fact. I think, what was that conversation where I forget what it was, but people were laughing about it. It was like, yeah, because Diddy don't pay his people or something like that. But I'm like, you on this whole like, oh, it's brother love. Okay, so if it's brother love, pay your fucking people, and you supposed to be doing so much shit for the culture. Go back, pay your fucking people. And I'm like, we forgetting about his other artists like Mace, all these people that he basically fucked over.
Yep, and they've all said it, because we saw him and Mace had a falling out. Because I think that was what brought up the conversation, because Mace called him out online because he said he still ain't got his money from Bad Boy days. Like he said the contract was fucked, and if you saying, because that's what it was. Diddy, remember, was talking about ownership and all of this shit like that, and Mace came back and was like, well, shit, you took all of our fucking masters. If you want to talk ownership, let us buy our shit back, because he said I offered to buy it back and he wouldn't let me buy my masters back. So that's what started the whole conversation back then. And I just feel like, I mean, shit, he right, because Diddy is always constantly now preaching ownership, this, that, and the other. Yet he be holding people shit hostage. Yeah. Like, if Big was really your people's the way you said you was, why do you still own Big's masters? His masters should have reverted. If you really loved him the way you said, you should have reverted his masters back to his kids. They should own that shit, not Diddy.
Yep. Like, I guess it goes back to, there's no way for, at this point, with people like, oh, listening to Diddy and all that about how to get rich, if he's not telling you how he schemed people and got over on people, man, let that shit go. Because that's how he got there. A big majority of his money came from fucking over people with badass fucking contracts. It wasn't just, the white on record labels, if that's what you want to call it, back in the day, or Atlantics or whatever. It was still Diddy's, where you like, okay, well, I don't have to deal with them, so I'm gonna go to Bad Boy. Hopefully they do me right. And then you have these people that are young and hungry. And if you saying, hey, I'm gonna give you this, and I ain't touched that money, and this money could potentially change my family life for the time being, because we need immediate relief, of course they're gonna sign it. And Diddy know that they're gonna sign it.
Yeah.
And it just sucks. Like, now you want to get on the internet and say, oh, ownership, and I'm all about love and positive vibes. Well, if you're about that, do right.
Yeah. Because he could always go back and correct the shit that he did back in the day. He could always do that.
I'm like, this shit greedy as fuck. Like, you like real life got people out here that's right back at square one, and you on a fucking private island. Like, that shit to me, that's trifling.
Yeah. Facts. And I hate the excuses that are made for him, is that people who say that, well, he gave the people the standard contract. Okay, but again, if he knew better and he knew that black people was being fucked over the way that they was, why did he have to add on to it? You know what I'm saying? As a black man, if you knew that people was getting fucked over in the industry, why couldn't you want to be better? Why couldn't you want to be a salvation for our people? Like, come to Bad Boy and don't get, you know what I'm saying, and get a better experience than what you get going to a white label or working with these white folks. So I don't know. That's just
That's
my
what people like. It's standard. I'm like, so we can't do nothing outside of that, or he couldn't do nothing outside of that. Like,
you couldn't do better.
Right. You can't say, hey, I got your back here. And he still would have made money. I'm like, there's no reason if he's worth $1 billion, okay, he would have been worth 500 million. I mean, he still got money. Much more money that he's going to spend this lifetime. It's foolishness.
Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that's all we got for hot topics today. I will say, just as a reminder, because that whole Freddie P interview it's on the Neighborhood Talk. So if y'all follow them or go check out their Instagram page, and you can see that and it goes he gets serious. Like, he was literally on there talking about, like, when I see his kids on the screen, like his sons with the cars and shit like that, I'm like, fuck them and fuck them kids, like, because that's my money. Them cars is my money and shit like that. I feel like that's my money. Like, damn, like that shit. Like, just go if you get a chance, go watch that shit. Cause man, I watched that shit and I was like, fuck. Cause he's like, I felt like I ain't got no fucking life no more, because you don't even worry about death, because I'm back where you know what I'm saying? I'm back in the hood. I'm back where I'm started. I'm like, fuck. That shit fuck with me, man.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Diddy got a lot to answer for. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna continue to say that if y'all consistently want to bash Tyra Banks and hold Tyra Banks accountable every fucking month, y'all need to start holding these men accountable too, who did some shiesty ass shit. And Diddy is right there at the top of the fucking list.
But then making a band shit was ridiculous. Like the walk-in for the cheese, just foolishness. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, at least with Tyra, as messed up as some of the stuff may have been, it pertained to the model industry and probably situations that you would be in. Well, why they had to walk over the Brooklyn Bridge for cheesesteak for?
Listen.
And then when you go to New York and figure out that Junior cheesesteak is literally every fucking word, you like, they had to walk to this one for?
Listen. Oh man. I don't know at all. Crazy times that we was living in back then with all the shit that was going on. FYI, hold on, before we move on from hot topics, did you see, were they thinking about rebooting College Hill, but with celebrities?
Oh, fuck not. Absolutely not. I did not see that, but no.
Okay, yeah, go on there. Just go on IG and you'll see. I think a couple people didn't post it. A couple of them blogs and posted it now. But yeah, they're talking about rebooting College Hill. They've already at Texas Southern. They've spotted Nene Leakes, Lamar Odom, Ray J. A couple of other people have already been on campus, and some people are saying it's supposed to be like a College Hill reboot. And I'm just like, don't do this. Don't do this. Not everything has to be made with celebrities. And secondly, College Hill was just a moment that you had to be there for. If you didn't live through that back in the day, like, I don't feel like they should try to remake it, redo it. All I'm gonna say is it was a moment in time, and if you wasn't old enough for it, I'm sorry. Because but
what I'm trying to figure out is, y'all don't even, and this is probably gonna sound ageist as fuck. But y'all didn't even go get college age. Like, new, because the college, like, just to be honest, you watch College Hill, these were 2019, 20,
Yeah.
21 for the most part. It wasn't nobody, no re-entering and all this shit. It was fucking fresh ass college students.
Yeah.
Like, no, this just irritated my spirit.
But not only that, what pisses me off is that you have so many celebrity folks who down college and like, oh fuck college, y'all don't need college. So why do a show about celebrities focusing on going back to college? And we all know they ain't gonna actually really get no fucking degree. It's just a check for them. So to me it's making a mockery of college.
And then you don't even have the, like, I know like the college he'll pay, but when you think about like the stuff that they did and all it was just But like how you say, it's like y'all say, "Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't have to. I get a check involved." So, oh,
I don't like
and
it.
that just makes me mad because when you think about the last college chill, it's like, first of all, ain't no rebounding from that one. Like you would have had to have a phenomenal like cast put together to come back from the Virgin Islands, the whole Caribbean. Like, and I think that that was the last college. So it ain't no rebounding from that whole season.
That season was fire though. Ooh, that was a good season. Shit, that was a good season. I ain't gonna lie to you. That one had me on my when old girl busted that girl upside her head with that. She was like, she was beating on the wall. She make me believe. I was like, bitch, oh, she gonna whoop your ass.
Do not come for her. She told you not, and you still went. Like it was just, I'm like, so it's no rebounding from it. And it just don't give like, for us that watch College Hill, it gave like a real perspective of, this is college. And it was college life for them. Like they worked regular ass jobs. They weren't no fucking celebrity already millionaires. Like you just know.
Yeah, exactly.
No. And then why not give actual college students that opportunity? Why does it have to be? This shit just irks me.
I'm telling you, they always trying to reinvent the fucking wheel. They should have just, like I said, it was a time that shit was fire. They should have just left it at that, and let's just leave it there. You know, it ain't necessary to redo every fucking thing.
Right.
That's my vent for the day. All right, let's go ahead and move. Let's go ahead and move to the relationship portion of the show.
Ready? So my question, and I think we kind of discussed this like last week with the whole Kiki Shear thing, but coming off the heels of that, it was another topic going on social media. Would you be okay with your man being in one of your close friends list on Instagram?
Yeah. So I actually saw this floating around on Instagram, and I don't really use all of the features on Instagram. And one of the features I don't use is the close friends feature, because I just feel like I don't post the content that I post. I don't feel like I post like any, you know what I'm saying, on Instagram, that if I'm gonna send something that I just want to send to my actual quote unquote close friends, I just send it in the group chat. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't post, you know what I'm saying? I don't really post that shit on Instagram like that. So I had to really think about it of like, okay, so if I use this feature, I guess it's similar to like if you do a group chat with your friends. So I mean, maybe you posting like, because I just really was like, what the fuck would you be posting in there that would be so like, because I mean, shit, if I did even if I did on Instagram use close friends, I'd be like, it'd probably be like some inside jokes or some shit like that. It wouldn't be I don't know. But I saw the girl who originally posted, I think she's one of the rapper's girlfriend or something, and she was like, she said in her thing, it didn't even have to be anything sexual that the girls was posting in there. She just didn't feel like your friend, if your friend should have your man in their close friends. And I guess for me, I'm just like, it comes back to that security and insecurity thing. Like, I'm not insecure enough to think that like, you know what I mean? To be like, oh, he can't be in her close. Oh, why not? Like if they cool, why? why couldn't she be like, I just can't, the correlation doesn't, maybe again, because maybe I don't use the feature like that. I just can't see what the issue would be. So for me, I'm like, I don't see what the issue would be, so I wouldn't care. But what about yourself?
Depends on what she posts on close friends, not gonna lie. Everything that I've seen that uses close friends, it's always like sexual or, you know, like explicit pictures. So we like, it depends on what she posts. Now, if it's just like some people, I have one friend, she has close friends, but she posts her child, like I'm in her close friend, so I can see pictures of her and her child. So that's different because I definitely get that. Like, I try not to share anything that I wouldn't want everyone to see because I feel like it's the internet. Nothing is really like a secret.
Mm-hmm.
If she posts something like that, then I'm like, okay, cool. You know, it's close friends. It's, you know, just pictures that, you know, maybe this is her business page, you know, and she kind of put personal pictures on her too, instead of making a different one. I get that. But if it's like you twerking at the club and half of your booty cheek out, yeah, take them off. A matter of fact, you take yourself some, yeah, it don't need to. I just feel like it's a boundaries thing for me, not so much as like just being insecure. Like, it's just strictly boundaries. Like, if you want your friends to see it, like, that's cool. But I don't want my dude on your close friends.
But see, that's why I think that it was important that she said that it didn't even have to, when she posed the question and she went back and clarified and said that it didn't even have to be sexual stuff. She just said in general that she didn't want.
That part I don't agree, because I'm like I said, if it's just you posting some shit that you just want to be, like I said, with the one friend that I have, she posts her son. Like, I'm okay with it. Or she might post something like, I feel like her close friends is like Black people. So she might post something to be like, you know, and she might say the word nigga, blah, and you see close friends. So that I can see, because it's like, okay, my other people, that's not my audience. That's not who I want to hear this. I don't want people to think they're cool enough that they can say this. So that part I see. But yeah, I don't know. I just can't rock with it just for anything. I think people get too, maybe because she's a rapper's girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because now I fully agree with you. Like, if it's sexual stuff, then you're right. My man don't need to be in your close friends. But like, if it's just like regular shit, like memes and shit, like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all want to laugh and joke and look at stupid me. Like, so if it's just shit like that, then what's the big deal? But like you said, if it's like sexual type shit, like if they treat it like it's a OnlyFans, then shit, yeah, okay, I get it. But outside of that, I don't. That's what I was saying. Like, when she made her own clarification that it didn't just have to be sexual stuff, then I was like, okay, well then I don't get it. If it ain't about sexual stuff, then what is the issue? What will be the issue? What will be the problem? I don't know.
And that's why I ain't get that either. I'm like, I mean, okay.
Exactly. All right. So you have a second question this week. What's that one?
So my second question is, as a woman, would you date a man if your car is better than his?
So I saw this one floating around as well. And I was like, I mean, I feel like you have to define a better car too. Cause I'm like, okay, so if it's like a broke down car, then a part of me will feel like maybe that's indicative to his pocket. Cause dudes, what I have found out in my, 34 years of life is that men are very particular about cars. You know what I mean? Like they take care of them probably way better than a lot of us women do. They'll hand wash their shit. make sure it's waxed, the tires looking good. They'll go get the, you know what I'm saying? Oh, they doing all the checks on the shit. That's like they babies. So if it's like broke down, busted and stuff like that, I feel like that's kind of indicative to the dude that you're dealing with. So then in that sense, but like if it's just like, for instance, if I was driving like a Range and he driving, you know, a Camry or something like that, then, you know, it is what it is. Not everybody, you know, is gonna want a expensive or a luxury car. Some people are frugal with their shit, and, you know, they just want a car that gets them to point A to point B. But as long as it's taken care of, then I feel like I'm okay with it. But like if it's busted down, you know, broken, exactly, tail lights, broken windows, shit like that. That's just an oddity for me to see a dude who has that, because all the dudes I know, they take such good care of their cars that it would just it would make me suspicious of the dude. Like, what dude riding around with that shit busted like that? Like, it's weird to me. What about yourself?
I'm kind of like there with you. I'm also a car snob. Like, I love cars. So I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with it. Like I said, as long I'm like with you on it, as long as it ain't like beat up, you ain't got it clean and all of that stuff, because everybody doesn't like think of cars the way that I think of cars. Like and I'm like a car snob where it's like a certain type of car. Like I had one dude, he thought he had like, just when I was younger, I was dating him. He had a Chevy Aveo and he thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm like, bro, that's a you sound like that's a bitch car. That was his car. And like you say, he had put rims on it, he had a radio in it, he kept it clean, the tires all nice and shiny. So it was his baby. So I can't say that. And I feel like, okay, my car better than your car because it's not a rich car. So yeah, I would still date someone if my car was better than them. I guess in my terms of better, I'm thinking like the year, and maybe like the price point.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think that's relative because like how you said, like, especially now today with cars, like some of the new Hondas and Hyundais, you like, that's a nice ass fucking car.
Right.
Like just the body of it, it's like, yeah, you might got a Range Rover, but that Sonata, that junk looks really fucking nice.
Yeah.
Or like the Kia Palisades, it's like, yeah, the price points and all that different might be better, but I'm not gonna knock you because you got that junk. Like, yeah. Now if you had a van, I don't know if I could do a van.
I'm gonna ask too many questions. So you got a soccer team? Is this for PTA meetings? Like,
why you got a van? I need to know. Like, I feel like if you don't have children, why do you have a van? Unless it's like, okay, this was a car that was given to me or it was in my price. Like, it gotta be that reason, which goes back to like, should we be dating if, you know, you got a van?
Yeah. Yeah. There's questions there. There's questions I gotta ask.
Oh yeah, I can't do a van. I'm sorry. Right. And there's certain SUVs that I can't do either. It gives me soccer mom vibes. I don't want to see my dude pulling up.
Well, like I said, maybe they have to take care of the soccer team. You never know. Maybe they the carpool dad.
But see, that means you got kids. But if you think when you have kids, it's like, why you got a Honda CRV? Like, I don't understand. Like, take it back. You should not be in this.
Listen, man. Listen. All right. So my question this week is, name one thing that must be present for you to define a relationship as love.
Ooh. I would say respect.
That's a good one.
Because I feel like they go hand in hand. I know, like, it was a quote like I read a couple years back, like, you can, you can respect the people you love. It was some bullshit, basically. But I definitely feel like respect, because I feel like if you respect me, you get my wishes, and it's a willingness as well to say, okay, I respect this person, so I'm always willing to work on this, and always willing to choose love, and always willing to wake up to this person. So I feel like for me, you gotta respect me to say, okay, this person loves me because they respect me. They're gonna make sure that, I'm okay. They do things because it's like, okay, I respect my partner, like, or they don't do things because I respect my partner. So, and I think that for me, that's love.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So for me, I'm kind of in that similar realm. I go with loyalty. I just feel like loyalty is so hard to find these days in any relationship. I'm not even just talking in between you and your partner. I'm talking about even in friendships and shit. So I just feel like loyalty it kind of piggybacks into respect, because like if somebody respects you, then they also, you know, have a loyalty to you or whatnot. And I just feel like it's just so important in a relationship to have that bond of knowing that I can trust somebody wholeheartedly like that. You know what I mean? To be loyal to me the same way that I am loyal to them. Ooh, you know what? I probably should have said trust. I feel like I like trust better than loyalty. I'm going to change mine and I'm going to say trust because I like trust better. But I feel like those coincide. See what I'm saying? Like all those words, those little buzzwords, they kind of mix and mash up together. Because I feel like trust, loyalty, they like all of those words fall in together. But I feel like I like trust better. I feel like it sounds better than loyalty. So we'll go with trust. But all the same shit applies. How about that? I like that. That's what I'm going with. And that's all I got. That's all I got for relationships. I don't got nothing else this week. Nothing else profound on my end. Anything else on your end you want to add?
Nothing else for me.
All right. So then let's go ahead and jump into the new books, TV, movies, reviews. And I'm going to kick us off because I don't remember. I feel like you said you didn't have anything. So I'm going to kick us off there. So this week on HBO Max, the movie Free Guy, it came out a couple of, I want to say sometime late last year. I don't know. It was in the movie theaters, but it just now came out on HBO Max. It stars Ryan Reynolds as essentially the preface of the movie is that he is artificial intelligence inside of a video game and he doesn't realize that. He just thinks he's a real person that's living. And first of all, I thought the preface was cool because like when I saw the previews for the movie and shit like that, I had no idea that was like, I just thought it was just like an action movie or whatever like that. I had no idea that that's where this movie was going. So then when I actually went to watch, I was like, oh, this is some interesting shit. So basically he's a character inside of a video game and he doesn't realize that he thinks he's a real person. And that's because the people who invented the video or who invented the algorithms in code and things for the video game, they built a algorithm to create artificial intelligence. So as the game went on, as people played it, the characters would get smarter and smarter and smarter. And apparently the company that they were trying to, sell it to ended up stealing their tech and putting it into a super violent game called Free City. And so essentially in Free City, it's kind of like, have you ever played Grand Theft Auto? Okay, so essentially Free City kind of reminds me of Grand Theft Auto, where basically the more fucked up shit you do, the better score you get. So in Free City, they, if you shoot a person, then you get more points. You rob people, rob stores, you get more money, you get more points, you level up, etc., etc., etc. So that's the preface of the game, and it just was a really interesting movie. Obviously, Ryan Reynolds, he's funny. I like the movies that he does. He's funny to me. He has a natural comedic presence on screen or whatever, without essentially being a comedian, but he just has this natural, comedic presence when you watch him on in television shows or on movies or whatever like that. So it was actually a really good movie. If you're a gamer, or even if you're not a gamer, if you just want something lighthearted and fun to watch, I highly recommend it. If you have HBO Max, it's on there, streaming for free. Go check it out. It's really good. In my opinion, like I said, it's lighthearted. It's just fun to watch. And it's an interesting. It's something that I hadn't seen in sense of in terms of just like the story. It was something that I hadn't seen, and so that is something else that I enjoy. Because I'm kind of played out on seeing the same old everything that we see. So it was just something different to watch. So like I said, it's lighthearted, it's fun. I'd recommend it. All right. And on your end, you said you didn't have anything for this week, correct?
No, other than I did listen to Wizkid's album. I know it's kind of old, but I like it. Solid. I always love Afrobeats anyway, but definitely a solid album. Didn't really skip too many songs, and of course, it has y'all like your favorites on there, like Burna Boy and Skepta, all them people. So good album to check out. I drove back from Atlanta and listened to it, so it was good.
Okay. That's cool. All right. Well, that is all we got this week then for new books, TV, and reviews, movies, reviews, etc., etc. Now we're going to jump into your missing for this week.
Okay. My missing for this week, her name is Charita Chambers. So I guess for me, I chose her this week because there's not like a lot of information that I found on her. And she doesn't have like any, how like missing people, you see like a lot of people come forward of like, this is her mother or whatever. She doesn't really have like a lot of those connections as well. But it's basically said October 16th, 2018. She's missing from Houston, Texas. She literally just left home and disappeared. There are no, the circumstances surrounding her disappearance are still unclear. It has not been reported whether investigators believe she is in danger or if foul play is expected. Of course, we are now in 2022, so we're almost 4 years later. She still is missing. The last update was from 6 months ago. At the time of her disappearance, she stood 5'5", weigh 115 pounds. Of course, she's Black. She has black, dark brown hair, brown eyes. They don't have any details on any distinguishing marks for her. She was last seen wearing a white long sleeve shirt, blue jeans, and a plaid jacket. Of course, if you have any information, and I promise, I will get her picture up this week as well as all the other people that I've spoke about, but to contact Houston Police Department or local authorities.
Okay. Anything else you want to
add? Nothing else. Oh, I do want to add something else as well. I haven't had a chance to watch the entire thing, so I don't want to give a review on it, but there is a 4-part series on PBS, and it's a documentary that highlights the plight of missing Black women and why their cases go ignored. And it is called Black and Missing.
Okay. All right. You said that's on PBS?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So something to check out. All right. So with that said, I am going to jump into my favorite part of the show, which is the nerd moment of the week. So the first thing I'm going to start with is a Fantastic Beasts update. So obviously Fantastic Beasts 3 is scheduled to premiere. I believe it's going to be sometime later in this year, or maybe even early next year. I'm not sure. I feel like it's got to be later this year because, okay, I see it. It's scheduled to be released in April. So their final trailer, well, what I believe to be their final trailer, was released, and we finally get a peek of the fight between Dumbledore and Grindelwald. If you are a Harry Potter fan, then you know the story between Dumbledore and Grindelwald. Their fight is kind of epic. It plays into the whole back in Harry Potter about how Dumbledore ended up with the Elder Wand. So we're finally going to get to see that whole fight in Fantastic Beasts 3. And so the final trailer, like I said, it kind of gives you a little sneak peek into that. And I'm excited for it. I think that obviously Fantastic Beasts hasn't been the greatest series in terms of a continuation for Harry Potter. Fantastic Beasts 1 was kind of boring. Fantastic Beasts 2 kind of stepped it up, and it was more interesting. So I'm hoping Fantastic Beasts 3 will kind of step it up again and continue to be even more interesting. Like I said, we're finally getting some meat and potatoes in terms of that backstory with Dumbledore. So I'm excited for that portion of it. Also, the rest of this is pretty much dominated by the Batman news. The Batman, it did premiere this weekend. It had a score on Rotten Tomatoes. At first, I saw that it was at 96% before it premiered, from all like the critic reviews and everything like that. But I seen today it dropped down to 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. But box office numbers are in, obviously, from their opening weekend. They did 128 million domestically, which is the second highest opening weekend in the pandemic era. Obviously, they are behind Spider-Man No Way Home, which came out last December, but it is the highest, obviously, in 2022 with that 128 million. I'm not surprised, though. So many people were anticipating and looking forward to going to see this movie. I also have heard from a lot of the critic reviews and just from a lot of the reviews in general that Zoe Kravitz steals the show. Her Catwoman, they said it's phenomenal. I'm not surprised. Even in the preview, she kind of stood out in terms of in general. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Batman fan anyway, so her in the previews is actually what made me want to go see the film. Like, I wasn't sold on Robert Pattinson as Batman, as Bruce Wayne. So it actually took my brother to kind of talk to me about it. He was like, well, if you watch some of the animated, then you know that his version of the Batman is kind of like earlier. So he kind of walked me through, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. But even that couldn't really sell me too much. But seeing Zoe in the previews as Catwoman, I just felt like, okay, she's going to eat this role, and I can't wait to see. I feel like she's going to steal the scenes. And from what critics are saying, she pretty much kind of steals the show a little bit when it comes to this movie. So I don't know if I'm going to go watch it in theaters because, like I said, I'm not a huge Batman fan, especially since I know that it's more than likely, being that it's DC and it's Warner Brothers, it's going to premiere on HBO Max at some point. I'm guessing they'll probably do like they did with some of the Marvel films that first premiered in the theaters, with Shang-Chi and with the Eternals, where it was in the theaters for like 45 days or something like that before it moved to Disney Plus. So I'm guessing the Batman will probably do something similar to that. So I don't know if I'm going to go see it in theaters or not, or if I'm just going to wait till it comes on HBO Max. But nonetheless, salute to them. I expected it to be semi good. So we'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to go see it or not in theaters, but we shall see. Also, in kind of sticking in the Batman world, Zoe Kravitz, she recently revealed that she auditioned for a part in the Dark Knight Rises, and the director, the reason she didn't get the part or she lost the role is because the director told her that she was too dark skinned and that she was too urban for the character. And like, if you've seen Zoe Kravitz, I'm just like, huh?
What? How much lighter do you want? You want her to be clear, or
listen? That's what I said. I said, I have never in my life considered Zoe Kravitz dark skinned anything. So I'm just like, for a director to say that she was too dark for the role, like, the fuck? So basically, just say you want a white woman. Like, because Zoe Kravitz is as light as they come, okay? So nonetheless, I just found that, like, when she revealed that, I found that fascinating. And I'm just like, wow. Shame on whoever directed. I think it was Matt. Is it Matt Reeves who directed the Dark Right? I have to look it up, but I believe his name is Matt Reeves who directed the Dark Knight Rises. I'm not sure 100% on that. I'll correct it in the next episode after I have time to look it up. But nonetheless, that just boggled my mind there. Like, I couldn't believe that. And I bet you she probably sat there and mine was fucking boggled. Like, probably thinks I've never in my life been on any audition and heard that shit. So, but nonetheless, that is all that I have this week. I know it's pretty short and pretty DC heavy in terms of the Batman, but I mean, that's pretty much the big story right now in Nerdland. Everybody's talking about the Batman and you know, all the upcoming DC projects that are upcoming. So nonetheless, that is all I have for the nerd moment of the week. Anything else on your end, Falan DeAnn?
Nothing else for me.
All right, so then, per usual, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening and sticking with us. We appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I hope you have a good night.
Good night.